You know when people tell you to warm your tyres up before you push your bike too hard into corners? Today I'm going to show you what happens when you don't warm your tyres up. I was on track when I had my spill. It was very early on, hadn't completed one lap. I was out with tyres that I haven't used on track before. They're Dunlop Sport Smarts. Probably pushed too hard into a hairpin. Not my entry speed wasn't high, but I was leant over a long way, as I say, on tyres with quite wide chicken strips on the left hand side. Possibly a little bit too much throttle as well, at the point of the apex when I was leaned over, and without warning the bike just let go, slid across the track, ended up in the grass. And I'll show you the damage I've done. I'll show you the tyres because they tell a bit of a story as well. But on first inspection, the mirror head was in place on the arm like that. I've removed it, but it was hanging. Oh, put that down. It was hanging from the cable like that. So that had sheared off completely. That there had sheared off completely. Now, amazingly, the mirror head, given that that's taken quite a whack, there's hardly even a scuff, just about there. I'm not even sure that's going to show up on the camera, but hardly even a mark. So I've removed the mirror head from the arm, and I'm going to use that. I've bought a replacement mirror head second hand on eBay. It arrived today. I went for one that had some heavy scuffing, or heavier scuffing there, because I could get that for a lower price, and also one that had the indicator unit missing, or at least excluded from the sale. So again, I could get that for a lower price, and I bought that for £20. So I'm going to remove the mirror head from the arm, probably chuck the head away, but that's what I want. I just want the arm there and the mounting point. So I will attach that to the original mirror head, put the indicator unit back in, which wasn't damaged. So that spill, the spill has cost me £20 so far. The other thing I found was, this is the exhaust mounting. Now, I went over on the left hand side and the exhaust is on the right hand side, but I guess the shock of the impact, the exhaust mount, this was in two pieces. You can see a mark there. It was cracked just along there like that. Now a good friend of mine at a car repair shop has welded that for me. And he's done that for nothing, you know. So sent an email to Scorpion and asked them if I could buy a replacement exhaust mount. And guess what? They didn't reply, and they still haven't replied. And I sent used the contact us on their website. No reply from Scorpion. I then phoned at that point I phoned my Suzuki dealer locally, and I won't mention them either. But I then asked them if they're a Scorpion dealer, and they are. And he was quite excited because he thought he was going to sell me an exhaust. And I then went on to explain what had happened and that all I need is a replacement mounting. And he completely lost interest, and he said that you can't buy the exhaust mountings, I'd have to buy a new one of these. And without taking that too close to the camera, that is spotless. So I'd have to replace that for circa 400 quid, 400 or 500 quid, because you can't buy the mount separately. In the meantime, I'd also contacted a motorcycle parts retailer online and explained that I haven't had a reply from Scorpion. I knew they were a Scorpion stockist, and after my mate had welded the exhaust bracket, they emailed me back and they said that they could send me one for £12, including postage and packing. So that's what I was wearing at the time. So these aren't going to be binned, they're alright, that's the only damage that's on the leathers where I went down on my elbow. As for the bike, when I saw it lying, it had gone all the way across the grass and it was lying on its left hand side, and I visualised that this part of the truck, I thought that it would all be scratched along there, so let's have a look. No, not a mark on it. Even the tax disc is still in place. I fitted Gill's rear sets during the summer and I've already touched it up, but so you can't see it really, but that was all scuffed underneath there where the peg touched down. But I've touched it up with black paint and it's now not even noticeable. So they're awesome, by the way. If you've got any sports bike really, I would thoroughly recommend you change your rear sets. 350 quid these were, so not cheap, but well worth it. It does feel a bit odd when you first ride the bike with different rear sets, gives it a completely different feel, but you soon get used to it. So no damage really so far. Let's look at other places of the bike, remembering it all went down on the left hand side. I fitted R&G engine case sliders on both sides. How pleased am I that I did? Look at that there. That engine slider has absorbed all of the impact there. That would have transferred to the engine case, and who knows, I may not have even been able to ride the bike home. There's a couple of little chips there that you can see on the engine case, nothing to do with that impact. That was there before, where I've just knocked it as I've transferred the bike out of the garage. A bit further up, we've got the frame slider. As you can see, that's taken a good hit, but that's what it's there to do. But most importantly, my fairing is spotless. Handlebar. It's got an R&G bar end, but that hasn't taken a hit at all. Front fork protector, no impact there. So all in all, watching my bike slide in across the track and ended up in the grass, and obviously picking grass out of the chain and now there's a bit area of impact. Can you see that's a Harris or paddock bobbin, whatever you want to call it? That's taken some impact there, you can see. So that's obviously helped protect the impact being transferred to this area. So that's done its job as well. Now, okay, for the tyres then, I said I'd talk about the tyres, didn't I? Now, because it was the left-hand side, my bike, only having had road use, has had more of its wear on the right-hand side of the tyre. And I'm shining a light on it to try and help you see, but you can see sort of there, that's probably about as far as I went over on the road in road use. So I then get on the track and you can see I've used all of the tyres. Yes, I've used all of the tyre in that left-hander, and even now, this is a cold tyre, but even now that feels really slippery around there with that releasing agent on it, whereas that's roughened up and it doesn't. You know, it's resisting even my hand. Put it on there and my finger just slides around it. So I think that was instrumental in my off. Cold tyres, chicken strips, the fact that when I was cornering I've used all of the tyre, increasing throttle as well at the apex. In hindsight, a recipe for disaster. But you can see that's about as much as I'd used on the road. And I don't think it's very noticeable, but these wear lines go right to that part of the tyre, almost right to the very edge in that first corner. You can see all the way around there.
but that is very slippery. That's rough. Again, it's biting into my finger, even with this cold tyre. That it's noticeably different how much my finger's just sliding around that releasing agent. So I think that's what's done it.